He entered her ship. She couldn't leave his side captain. Jake Miller floated through the dark void of space in his damaged escape pod. The small craft shook and sparked as its systems failed one by one. He had been drifting for 3 days after. His transport ship exploded during a pirate attack. Food and water were running low and oxygen levels dropped steadily. A massive shadow blocked out the distant stars. Jake looked up to see an enormous alien vessel, unlike anything humans had ever encountered. The ship stretched for miles with smooth purple metal that seemed to glow from within. Strange symbols pulsed along its hull in patterns that hurt his eyes to follow. A tractor beam pulled his tiny pod into the alien ship. Jake felt helpless as mechanical arms guided him through an airlock into a vast hangar bay. The atmosphere read as breathable on his scanner, but he kept his helmet on just in case. The hangar doors sealed behind him with a sound like singing crystal. Jake climbed out of his pod and looked around in wonder. The walls curved impossibly high above him, covered in the same glowing purple metal. Everything seemed alive somehow, pulsing with gentle light. Footsteps echoed across the hangar floor. Jake turned to see a figure approaching from the shadows. His breath caught in his throat as she stepped into the light. She was clearly not human, but beautiful in ways that defied description. Her skin had a pale blue tint that seemed to shimmer like starlight, tall and graceful. She moved with fluid motions that reminded Jake of water flowing. Her hair was silver white and fell past her shoulders in waves that moved as if underwater. Her eyes were the most striking feature, large and violet they seemed to hold, depths of knowledge and sadness Jake had never seen before. She wore a flowing robe that changed colors as she walked, shifting from deep blue to purple to silver. The alien woman stopped a few feet away from Jake and spoke in a voice like music. Her words were in her own language, but somehow Jake understood them perfectly. "My name is Zara, and you are welcome aboard my vessel. You are hurt and far from your home." Jake removed his helmet slowly. The air tasted sweet, with hints of flowers. He could not identify. "I am Jake Miller of Earth. My ship was destroyed and I have been drifting for days. How can I understand you?" Zara smiled, and the expression made her whole face glow with warmth. "My people have the gift of mind. Touch we can share. Thoughts and meanings directly. I hope this does not frighten you." It should have frightened him. Jake knew that. But something about Zara made him feel safe in a way he had not experienced since childhood. There was kindness in her eyes that transcended species barriers. "I am not afraid." Jake said, "You saved my life." "I am grateful." Zara nodded and gestured for him to follow. "Come, you need food and rest. My ship has quarters where you will be comfortable while you recover." Jake walked beside her through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The walls showed moving images of distant worlds and star systems. Some showed peaceful planets covered in silver cities. Others displayed the beauty of nebulas and cosmic phenomena. "Your ship is incredible," Jake said. "How large is it?" Zara paused at an intersection of hallways. "This vessel is what you might call a world ship. It houses my entire people. We have traveled the galaxy for many generations, seeking a new home. Are you refugees?" Jake asked in a way. "Yes," Zara replied. "Our world was dying and we had to leave. Everything we knew and loved is gone now. We search for a place to build new lives." Jake felt a deep sadness emanate from Zara, even though her expression remained calm. The mental connection between them let him sense her emotions beneath the surface. There was grief there and loneliness that seemed to go on forever. They arrived at a set of doors that opened silently at their approach. Inside was a comfortable room with furniture that adjusted itself to Jake's size. The walls showed a view of space outside, complete with slowly moving stars. "This will be your home while you stay with us," Zara said. "Food and water will be provided. You may rest as long as needed." Jake sat on the bed, which felt perfectly supportive. "Thank you, Zara. But I should contact my people, let them know I am alive." Zara's expression grew troubled. "We are currently in a region of space where communications are not possible. There are energy fields that block all signals. We will reach clearer space in several days." Something in her tone made Jake wonder if she was telling the complete truth, but he decided not to press the issue. He was alive and safe aboard her ship. That was enough for now. Over the following days, Jake explored the alien vessel and learned about Zara's people. They called themselves the Villani and had been traveling through space for over 200 years. Their original world had been consumed by its dying star, forcing them to flee. In massive ship, Zara spent most of her time with Jake, showing him the wonders of her ship and explaining Villani culture. She was a leader among her people, something like a princess or high priestess. Jake learned her knowledge and wisdom were respected by all the other Villani. The more time they spent together, the stronger their mental connection became. Jake found he could sense Zara's thoughts and emotions even when she tried to hide them. The attraction between them grew daily, though neither spoke of it openly. Jake discovered that Zara had been alone for a long time. The Villani lived for centuries but formed deep pair bonds that lasted lifetimes. Zara's bondmate had died decades earlier, leaving her isolated among her own people. "You feel incomplete," Jake observed one day as they walked through a garden aboard the ship. The space was filled with alien plants that glowed softly in the artificial light. Zara stopped beside a fountain that played with liquid that looked like flowing light. "Yes," she said quietly. "When a Villani loses their bondmate, part of their soul goes with them. I have been searching for something to fill that emptiness." Their eyes met, and Jake felt the full force of her loneliness. It was like staring into an abyss of sorrow that threatened to swallow him whole. But underneath the pain, he sensed something else. "Hope. I feel it too," Jake said. "We have this connection that I cannot explain. You understand me in ways that other humans never have." Zara moved closer to him. The silver patterns in her hair seemed to pulse brighter. "My people believe that souls recognize each other across time and space. Perhaps that is what has happened between us." Jake reached out and touched her face gently. Her skin was warm despite its alien appearance. "Would it be possible for us to? Could we?" "Yes," Zara whispered. "But there would be consequences. If we bond, our souls will be linked forever. Neither of us could survive long apart from the other." The weight of her words settled over Jake like a heavy blanket. He would be giving up his entire species, his homeworld, his old life to be with her. But as he looked into her violet eyes, he realized the choice had already been made in his heart. Days passed. As Jake wrestled with the decision, Zara gave him space to think, but he could feel her hope and fear through their mental link. She wanted him to choose her, but would not pressure him. Finally, Jake made his choice. He found Zara in her private chambers, which were decorated with crystals that sang softly in harmonious tones. She was standing before a large window, looking out at the stars. "I have decided," Jake said. Zara turned to face him, her expression carefully neutral. "Tell me." "I want to bond with you," Jake said. "I know what it means. I will never be able to return to Earth or live among humans again. But I would rather spend a lifetime with you among the stars than face eternity alone." Tears that sparkled like diamonds ran down Zara's cheeks. "Are you certain there is no returning from this path once we begin?" Jake took her hands in his. "I have never been more certain of anything in my life." The bonding ceremony was unlike anything Jake had ever experienced. The other Villani gathered in a great hall filled with crystal formations that resonated with psychic energy. Zara wore robes that seemed woven from starlight itself. Jake wore simple clothes that had been modified with Villani technology. An elder Villani performed the ritual, using words in their ancient language that seemed to reshape reality around them. Jake felt his consciousness expanding, merging with Zara's, until he could no longer tell where he ended and she began. When the ceremony concluded, Jake's appearance had changed slightly. His skin had taken on a faint blue tint and his eyes now held flecks of violet. He could feel Zara's presence in his mind like a warm flame that would never go out. The transformation made it impossible for Jake to survive long. In purely human environments, his biology had been altered to match Zara's, extending his lifespan and changing his basic needs. But he found he did not mind. These changes were a small price to pay for the love he had found Years passed as Jake and Zara traveled together through the cosmos. They visited worlds of incredible beauty and encountered wonders beyond imagination. The Villani eventually found a new homeworld and began to build their civilization. Anew, Jake became a bridge between the Villani and humanity when the two species eventually made contact. His unique position allowed him to help negotiate peaceful relations and prevent the conflicts that often arose when different species met. But through all their adventures and achievements, Jake never regretted his choice. Every day with Zara was a gift that filled the emptiness he had not even known existed in his soul. They were two beings from different worlds who had found in each other the completion they both desperately needed. He had entered her ship as a dying refugee and discovered a love that transcended the boundaries of species and space itself. Now neither could imagine existing without the other. Their bond had become the foundation